Welcome, Ishant. Welcome back to the college. It's a pleasure to receive you here. And
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you.
So you will be able to see him by the name of Bob the Builder.
I noticed that he's Bob the Builder. And the character is not of my childhood, but I was just telling other colleagues that I have grown up kind of as a father with Bob the Builder.
Yes, we all have. Yes,
with my two kids. So,
exactly. So,
yeah. So glad to see that you are Bob the Builder, the character, because he had everything positive in him. And I'm just told by one of my colleagues in the English department that they now teach these graphics to undergraduate students of English. You know, Popeye and Bob Noddy and all these as graphics to children. I mean, grown-up children now. And the effect that comes. So I hope some of the characters of Bob the Builder has come to you, Ishant. And do give something to our students. So good afternoon to all the students who have joined in here and all my colleagues from Computer Science Department. It's nice to see you all together. TechPioneers, of course, is doing excellent work. So my congratulations for the good work that you keep doing through and hoping that we'll again go physical very soon. All the time I keep hoping. I kind of have been getting lonelier and lonelier in the 2 years of Corona here in the college. Thankfully, the teachers are back somewhat now and hoping for the students to be back. So we'll see you physically sometime soon, Ishant. But in the meantime, thank you for agreeing to come to our platform of TechPioneers and Aryabhatta College. So you will be speaking on navigating through life of a techie, which is in many ways, should be an eye-opener to the current students and also a pathway. I mean, something that will give them some kind of opening and some knowledge about how to go about things later in life, and also pick up some nuances about what it is to graduate and then go on and do other things. Do share a lot of experiences, and I hope some of my students will pick up a few of the nuances from Ishant. Thank you so much for coming, Ishant, once again, and all the best for the seminar today.
Thank you for inviting. Thank you, sir.
Manya, you can start. Thank you, sir.
छाप छोड़ देते हैं किसी के हुनर, कभी ये काम किसी के अल्फाज करते हैं, आज कुछ सीखते हैं कुछ सिखाते हैं, आओ इस कार्यक्रम का आगाज करते हैं. Good afternoon to everyone. I would like to welcome our respected principal, sir, Professor Manoj Sinha, our department teachers, Dr. Ranjan Kumar, Dr. Preeti Jagwani, Dr. Sonal Linda, Ms. Mona Adlakha, Ms. Ruchika Agarwal, Ms. Neha Kumari, Mr. Ranjan Kumar, Raj Kumar, sir, and all my dear companions present here. I, Manya, really believe in being here to contribute to this auspicious moment as my honor and privilege. A college is not very old, but if we talk about today, then our graduates are widely spread around the world to differentiate between development, learning knowledge, and their performance. Because of their outstanding performance, the Computer Science Department of Aryabhatta College has established a tradition to stay in contact with their alumni. Well, continuing this tradition, we are back with the third episode of our Alumni Speak Series. Every episode, we invite our alumni who have already established themselves in the outer world to enlighten us with their gained knowledge and experience. Today, we have our dear senior Mr. Ishant, who graduated from our college in the year 2019. We are aspiring to learn valuable lessons of hard work and determination from him that we can follow in the years to come.
Taking over from Manya, this is Vashita who would like to welcome you all to this insightful session that we are about to have. The dedication and passion shown by our principal sir and teachers is the sole reason that we have earned a renowned name for our college. To start with today's program, I would like to request Preeti ma'am to brief us about Mr. Ishant.
Thank you, Manya and Vashita. Let me brief about our own alumni, Ishant Malik. And trust me, for a teacher, this is an experience into itself. So Ishant Malik is an alumnus of batch 2016 to 19 of our department, Computer Science Department, Aryabhatta College. He completed his post-graduation MSc Computer Science from University of Eastern Finland. He is currently working as a C++ engineer at an American-based company, Mapbox Oil. Mapbox is a location data platform that power the maps and location services used in many websites and applications such as Foursquare, Instacart, and Snapchat.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Honorable Principal Sir to kindly enlighten us with his words of wisdom.
Principal sir. Sir, I think
Sir, ma'am, should I call him?
yeah, maybe he got into
Give me a minute.
some
Yeah, give me a
visitor in the. Um,
Did you want me or something?
yes, sir. We were
Yeah.
saying, would you like to say something else?
Bata.
Hanji sir, would you like to say something else?
What?
No, we were just requesting you, and then we can have a
No,
photograph.
no. I just wanted to welcome him. That's it.
Okay,
Why-
we'll have a photograph then also, sir.
Huh?
Sir, photograph bhi leni hai humne.
Okay.
We have to take a screenshot. So if you could keep your
Screenshot.
camera on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So everybody, please switch on your cameras, please. So we can have maximum cameras here.
Yeah, I've joined. Okay.
I think Preeti ma'am will join. Just wait till Preeti ma'am is here. She'll join back and switch on her camera.
She was trying to ring me, so
Yes, sir.
we
Yes,
pay
sir.
attention now. Yeah.
Yeah, we are having the photograph, Dr. Preeti. You've got enough shots, everyone? Whoever's taking it?
Just hold on a moment. I'm not well positioned. I like the Aryabhatta symbol to be there. Okay. Yeah.
सर थोड़ा और शिफ्ट करना पड़ेगा आपको पूरा आया नहीं आर्यभट्ट का सिंबल
अब आ गया है.
अच्छा थोड़ा आगे
अब लीजिए आप. हाँ.
थैंक यू
Okay. Good.
Thank you, everybody. Now, Manya will give us a quick brief about the rules and regulations for the webinar.
For a smooth process, we would appreciate it if you could keep a few things in mind. Please keep your microphone and video off throughout the meeting. You are not allowed to present a screen. Doing so will lead to immediate removal from the meeting. Questions will be taken at the end of the session by the host. No interruptions will be entertained. Any kind of inconvenience, unethical behavior, or reprimanding will lead to immediate removal from the meeting without any warning. No e-certificates will be provided to the participants.
Now, I would like to invite our guest speaker, Mr. Ishant Malik, to walk us through his journey and share his on field experiences with us. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So you guys can see the presentation, I hope.
yes it started
Okay, good. And Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining, and it's very good to be back again and to talk with you guys. And so thanks for joining. And as you can see, the title, it's a bit funky, navigating through life as a techie. And after like all like I've been through undergraduate and then master's studies and then now working, it's kind of like on one Friday evening, you are having a release of a product and you are thinking about you're working till 10 p.m. and like you're thinking about like what decisions led to working at 22 p.m. In the night and like why. And so in that moment, you think like, how do you navigate through this life as a techie? And one thing that really summarizes is that you have chosen something and now you have to do it. And so before I start with like going into the specifics, I would like to do some self-promotion. Of course, everyone else already said like what I do, what I didn't do. And so I will just skip really fast through this. And yeah, so I was in class of 19 and I'm still doing a master's degree from University of Eastern Finland. I was supposed to graduate in this year, but I'm not doing that this year. Just to be clear, I haven't failed any courses, but yeah, it's just like it's shifted to next year. And then I worked as an intern at Department of Computer Science, University of Delhi in my first year. And after that, I worked as a software engineering intern at Mapbox. And a lot have been said already. Mapbox is, if you like don't know about it, never used it, I'm pretty sure like at least like a lot of people would have used it. For example, if you see like Snapchat and you have the Snap Map in Snapchat. So Snapchat uses our maps to do that. If you have been onto Facebook and seen a map and like, yeah, that is also like we provide the maps there. And so we are like in a lot of places. And it's kind of interesting. A lot of people don't know about that. Maybe some of you might be using Mapbox for your projects and stuff later in life. And so that was my self-promotion. And now I will start about like what are my experiences that I've been through going from undergraduate and sometimes even before undergraduate. And then I will try to break this thing into like a different year of undergraduate you are in, like what kind of things you can watch out for, what can you do. And I keep this presentation a bit like short, and I will not speak a lot of things. I will give you pointers. It's up to you to go and look for like what you are willing to look for. So I'm not going to explain everything. I'm just going to give you pointers. You go and look what's best for you after that. And so then where do we start? So you have chosen computer science, you have chosen interesting things, and all it starts with a choice. So you have made a choice, call it the red or blue field, whatever. And here we are studying computer science. So for the first year, whatever the reasons that you came into computer science might be different. Some people are like, we are very interested in it. Some people are not. But this field of computer science is quite very vast. Like you come in here, you have done your first year, you kind of might be confused like what you want to like proceed with and how you want to go ahead. So if you haven't found a place in CS yet, and if you are like in first year or you have completed your first year, I will strongly suggest you take like a couple of these courses. So one of this is CS50. I think a lot of people might be knowing it. And this is like a very nice like overview. So if you are like looking for like a whole lot of different things, you will learn a lot of different things in this course, almost beginning from very like C++ programming to Python programming. And so this will give you a very good idea like where you might want to be later. And just for the record, I did this course even before I joined the university. So this was like one of the reasons that I joined computer science, because then I knew like what kind of things that I like, what I don't really like. So this will give you a really big overview. And another course is this Introduction to Computer Science and Programming. Still, again, you might have already taken a lot of courses in your first year. this again gives you very high level overview, because the courses you do in your first year, they're very specific: programming in C++, programming in Java. You learn the languages, but then you have to know this like very high level idea, like, yeah, like I know those, but what I want to do. So these things, like for people who are in first year or at the end of the first year, you can go and check them out, like if you like really find them interesting. And now we like kind of proceed to this like very interesting part of this whole thing, is what are the things that will stick around you? Like what will you like learn in your undergraduate studies? And this is again from my experience, like somebody's experience might be different, but there's some things that you will find very like useful, like no matter like in which stage or what point of career you are in. So the courses that will stick, and this is especially aimed at the people who are starting like second year, what you might want to focus on. And so this has been said a lot of times. You might have heard it all the time, but then it cannot be emphasized enough. The most important thing in computer science is data structures. And if you like plan to stay longer in this field, especially as a programmer or a system designer or stuff like that, they will never leave you. They will haunt your life like for a very long time. And I have a very interesting story about this. Like this was the course that we did. And when I was applying for one of the universities, I had an interview where the interviewer comes and he's asking like, can you count like how many times integer occurs in an array? So for example, you have a big array, it is filled of integers, so you have to tell, number 4 happens 5 times, number 1 happens 3 times, so you have to write the code. And it's quite easy that you write the code. In Python, it's like 2 lines or 3 lines, barely like that much of code. And then he again goes on asking like, yeah, you have used this, like what kind of data structure do you think that it has? Like what, you know, like there is a dictionary in Python, but do you know how it works? And so this is the course where you get this idea that you will immediately know, yeah, it's a hash table. And I don't know if a lot of people know hash table. I think people in third year might know hash table. And so you kind of like, it clicks to you that it's a hash table.
They know it right now.
Okay. Good. And so it will click to you. If you do not do this course properly, you will have to do it at some point in life, like not now, but later as well. And another thing is design and analysis of algorithms. This is, again, like it has been said so many times, and again, from my own experience, this will even stick further. Like you can sometimes like forsake data structures, but you cannot forsake this thing in computer science. So a very good example, like I was on another interview where you go and they kind of ask like, it was like kind of in C++, like how do you store this key value pairs? So there is a map. But then when you try to store that thing, you have to do it efficiently. So if you have done this course properly, you will again know like there is something called a red-black tree that they use it. And the red-black tree is like really like one of the worst things that you can study. Like it's really hard. And so do take an opportunity when you take these courses, see them in a different light. And not just like what is taught in the course, like it will be taught like according to a specific syllabus, but then always try to find like these things, like when you are programming something and you see something, try to map it to like what you have like seen. For example, you use a list, then you like try to find out what's the data structure behind it. Then you see like, oh, that probably might be a linked list with some optimization. So this kind of things will help you very much like in all steps of life, especially your professional life, and then as well during the interviews. So if you have done these courses, just try to recall them. And one more thing that is very interesting is operating system. This is like kind of really black sheep in the whole set of courses. Like, at least when I was doing this course, it's like, I'm never going to design an operating system. Why should I even try to like see like what it is doing? But then you realize that operating system is like kind of, it's kind of a very well-designed software itself, right? And so a lot of problems that happen in this operating system, like a design problems, you will find them again and again whenever you are designing any system. Any system, like a very good example, like, you will use Google Maps. Well, I will quote from Maps because I'm working with Maps. So Google Maps, or like even our Maps. So here is this thing, like when you like say like I want map of this place, and so we have to do a lot of things. Like we have to send you all the imagery, we have to actually draw the tiles, and they are coming to you. And at the same time, users are very impatient. Like, of course, like everyone is like, yeah, this is not working. Why is it not working? And so what will happen while it is loading, you will try to sometimes drag it, like, this is not loading. Let's just try to drag it to somewhere else. Let's see. And so those are the scenarios. This is a very classic problem because your computer cannot do two things at once, actually. This is like the fact that you might have these days a lot of processors that do like different things. But in general, a processor works very sequentially. So when you try to drag, it will not drag usually because it is still busy downloading stuff. So what's the problem here? Like why this is important, as I'm saying it, that this is a very interesting concept in operating system called threading. So you kind of distribute your work. You say like one thread, you fetch the data for me, and the other thread is like, yeah, someone is like trying to do something with the GUI, so you will handle the GUI. So this is a very good concept you will learn in operating systems and stuff. So very much look out for this course. It has a lot of very important things that you'll see. Another thing that always comes from this course is this atomic operations, that I would say. And these are like the things, if you have not done yet any courses like this, these are like mutexes and semaphores, like which like, because you solve a problem here. Like what you solved is like, I want to drag the map as somebody is downloading stuff, but you have created another problem. What if you drag the map, somebody needs to make sure that you are not like writing data into the wrong places when you're dragging the map. So the data I just got, I don't want to draw it where you have dragged it, because that's a new place. If I got the old data and wrote it there, you were like, yeah, I dragged the map, but I still get the old things. So you get this like really interesting problem of data races. Like you solve one, you create one. And this is what we say how the software engineers keep their job. Like we solve a problem and we create two, and then we solve those problems. So you create like these kind of some things. So be on very lookout for these courses. From my experiences, very important. Like this will answer a lot of your questions, like when you go for an interview or like designing something. Like, yeah, once you get it once you get it right from the beginning, it's really will be very difficult for you like to be like go to an interview and like, oh yeah, I don't know, like there was a trick question or something. And the last one is linear algebra. And again, like this is like something that is not specifically computer science, but this will again comes everywhere in computer science, like especially in my line of work, when we are like kind of, especially if you go to graphics or something, you will all the time see these matrices and like projections applying. And if you have done like kind of some linear algebra, you will be like very easy with these kind of things. Otherwise, it's just like you are like, oh, some magic is happening there, and it's like sometimes hard to get in there. And so very much like I would very much recommend everybody to take like linear algebra in their general elective. I think still offered, I guess. And so it is very important. You will see it everywhere. And these days, like the current hot words of machine learning and stuff, this is very important as well. Yeah. So yeah, this was all the talk about, yeah, generic elective. Yes, thank you. And so this is all about what you might want to focus on when you are a student itself. Like things are easier when you don't have to fix them later. Like if you don't like pay attention to these courses and later you are going to interview, like now I have to prepare. So this is like very important again. And second year, in my opinion, is like one of the most like important years. Like you know very much of like things. So anybody who is in like moving to second year, have a good focus on there, and you will find like this. So now you have done like couple of like you have done all of this. You have like you are maybe about to graduate or something, and then we kind of face this problem here. Like you do everything and you still kind of like see like there's a big, like people say, there's a gap between what people are studying and what people want in the industry. And, the general problem is, you say, this is what I wrote in college. And this is the first time when I went to my internship and I see this like code block right there. I'm like, I don't even know like what is happening here. I knew I have a certain idea, but like most of it was like kind of like alien language at that moment. And so I might ask like some of the people if you can identify, like, I think all of you have done some C++. If you can identify like in this code piece on the right, yeah, I think it's everybody's right. Like if you can identify like what features like of the language we are using here.
Question for the students. Your second and third year students, all of you have done C++. Ishant is asking something. Asif, can you answer?
Well, I don't even know if there's left or not. There's still like. But
yes, Asif.
So I think we are first checking the value if it's an array, and so we are here using.
Yeah. That's all correct. Like what we are doing. Can you just
Then
identify like what features of the language? Like for example, you can say like here you have used some sort of template. Here you have used operator overloading. So I think that's like the main idea, because I think it's really hard to like say like what this is doing actually.
Yeah. So
Asif, you can try.
Yeah. Always.
definitely we are using templates here, and I think we are using image template to identify whether it's an image. So I think this code block is working to identify the grids in maps. I think I'm not sure though, but this is I think the general case.
That's fine. Like you don't really have to like know what it's actually doing. So yeah, that was correct that we are using templates here, but then we are also using operator overloading here, which is like very. You might have also studied it, but it's really hard to see, like because the operator that is being overloaded it's just the parentheses. We are just overloading the parentheses. And I saw this code for the first time, and I was like, it took me like at least one day to totally figure out like what they were trying to do here. So, well, again, some pictures to summarize this. This is what we did, and this is what you see when you go there. And so how do we kind of like fill this gap? And I think this is like very good, like for third year students, like what you might want to do like in this stage, because if I remember correctly, you don't have a lot of courses going on in the last year. So you can try to focus on something like this if you want to like continue like doing more computer science further. And so the solution, and this is like maybe the solution, this is like what I think that people can do and what I did. And so the first thing is try to look at open source code. Like you might have heard it again from everybody. It has been already said a lot of times. But what I'm trying to say is a bit different. Like you don't have to contribute or like, you don't have to like build and do something and really like be in there. Just look at some open source code. Like try to just like build it and run it. Like, can you even build it? Can you like run it? Can you read the documentation? And so half of the time what I'm doing at my job is most of the time I'm reading the code that is written. And then after like reading it for a while, then I can see like, okay, now I can write something. And usually most of the time you're just reading the code like that other people like wrote. And this is like a very, very important skill in my opinion and from my experience. So it's very important that you go and look at open source code. So I have listed like a couple of these like links here. I think you have the presentation, so you can just like go and check them out. So I have listed these. So the top two projects are like if you're interested in machine learning and data science kind of things, and you want to see like how like what you have already studied, how they actually like make it like production level things, like what it is. So I will strongly recommend to go and check out any project you like, try to run and build it and see like what you did not know yet, because you will find out you haven't like seen a lot of things. And the third one is again, some more self-promotion. This is like our project that we are working on, and this is open source. So if you are interested in this, but this is like very complex one, but it's always like, you don't have to worry about it complex or something. You just go on, look at something that you're interested in. For example, you will be sometimes, some people might be interested in like how this thing is drawing something. So you go to the renderer folder and you see like there's some code like which actually draws something on the screen, which is, in my opinion, is quite cool because I haven't wrote that code, but this is like very awesome and it works very fast. And so that is also you can check out. And another thing that if you are looking for this kind of, if you want to like, you don't know like which projects to look at, I again strongly recommend. Another thing is looking at GSOC, Summer of Code. A lot of people might be knowing it and not. So it's a program by Google where you can just like, contribute to an open source project. And then I think there is some compensation against it. Yeah, but the idea here is like, go there, look at like what you look at the list of projects actually. So they have very nice projects. Some are very beginner friendly, some are intermediate. So they're even like categorized by difficulty. So if you're like not sure like which project you might want to look, what kind of code you might want to look, just go there, look at it, and maybe also kind of apply if you're very interested. I again recommend applying, but you don't have to. And the last thing, this is like a very good thing, the missing semester. So when you start from your undergraduate or like your university studies and you go to work in a company, you will see you're missing a lot of tools. And these are like very, very common tools like Git. You have heard about it again, but you might not have used it in your whole academic career once. And so Git is like very important tool. Like I use it like every day. I write more Git commands than actually code. So that is very, very, it will give you a very good idea. So go check out this thing. It will actually give you a very good idea. So you are more productive and faster when you write a lot of code, right? And so these are the three things. Again, I will not like go into a lot of detail about them. Just I told you like what you can do with them, what you should do with them, and it's up to you if you want to like explore or not. And then finally, near the end, you're in final year, what you want to look out for, we're about to graduate. So some of you might be planning some further studies. Some might want to look for some interview tips. And here, like if you are planning further studies, if you are going to take some admissions, I think if you want to take admissions in India, like you have a lot of time, but you might want to start preparing now, because a lot of my friends who like did a lot of exams, they like started preparing like very early, and then they also like succeeded in them. So like if you're trying to see, then just like start seeing like what's the syllabus and stuff, and then you can start moving towards that. For those who want to also look outside India, so the admission cycle has already started. You might want to like a bit like start now. It's from September to March 2021. And this is like the time that I also applied to a lot of universities. And this will involve like start preparing now. And if you're going to apply outside, you will definitely need motivation letters. And this brings to me one very important point again. Writing is one of those things that like is not technical, that you will need every time. Like sometimes, and yeah, I will do that. Yeah, I will do that in the end. Yes. So writing is very, very important. Like no matter where you are. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, thanks for the correction. It's March 2022. Yeah. And so writing is very important, I've said already, because when you start taking admissions, you have to write motivation letters. You are doing your courses, you will have to write your project assignments. And when you are working, you have to present a lot of things like, and so we do a lot of things at my company that I'm working on. And there's a lot of writing. Like every time you do something new, you have to write and present it to like people, like why we should do this, what you want. So writing would be very important secondary skill to have. And so you might need to write motivation letters. And just a little bit about motivation letters. What you want to do is like what you have already done, what you might want to do, and just say to them like how you bridge it together in the time you're at their university or wherever you are. And so, yeah, this is one thing you will need. Second, you will need to get recommendation letters. And again, I think I should especially thanks Preeti ma'am for writing me all the recommendation letters, especially the last minute ones. So thank you, ma'am.
Yes, the
And
last
so,
minute one you need to mention each other again. तुम
yeah.
बहुत last
Weren't
minute
most
काम
of
कराए
them last
मुझसे.
minute? Weren't
Yeah.
most of them last minute ones?
Yes, most of them were last minutes और बहुत डांट भी खाई है इसने मेरी. I'm telling you.
Yes, but still, like I cannot thank like enough. Like definitely, that was like, yeah, one of the things that like other students also might need the recommendation letter. But please now for this time, don't make my mistakes. Like already start now and like ask for recommendation letters. Yep. And yeah, you might need 2 recommendation letters. So start finding teachers you know well and like try to show your work so you can get better recommendation letters. And then this is again some bureaucratic stuff. You will need signed documents, and this also takes a lot of time. Again, I also again thank Preeti ma'am for like going above and beyond to get some of these documents for me. Otherwise, I would have been standing for like forever there. And yeah, you will need, and then send documents. So start preparing early if you're targeting something like this, and you can always contact me if you need some help. And so this is something like for students who are trying to apply. So I would like kind of like recommend like to apply for 3 of these things. They're very good, and they're quite competitive, but I was able to get to a certain points in all of these processes. I was able to get like a French government scholarship. So I think like you guys will be able to do the same. But these are like very competitive, but you will be able to like, just know that with all the background that the college will prepare you, at least academically, you will be quite competitive. So if you are very interested in that, you can apply to any of these places. And for the last one, people who are not going for studies, who want to do some more, you want to go for a job, just look for these things. These are the things that I come across all the time in my life, like the working life now. It's look at the build systems. So nobody writes one file of code and then compiles it. No one does it. You always have like hundreds of things, and you want to like then compile and build it. So and this is something that you will not learn in your curriculum, like how to compile this so huge tons of files. And this is what you will struggle with like many times if you haven't seen it. So you might want to look at this. So there's CMake, Gradle, and Xcode on Mac. So these are the things that you might want to check out, the build systems, how you actually build your software like nicely and very fast. If you are stuck with one of these, like they make your life very, very like miserable at some point. And so once you know this stuff, you go to a very good realization. And another thing that is like very prevalent in many software companies is testing. We kind of discard it, like, well, who needs testing or something like that? We don't want to write tests, but a lot of in like software companies, they will use something called test-driven development. You might learn it in software engineering, but for the practical things, do look for unit testing. And this is like one of the questions they straight up asked me in my interview when I was like interviewing for Mapbox internship. They're like, have you ever wrote unit tests? And I was like, maybe sometimes. I haven't like know them very well. And they just asked me to write like a unit test, like conceptually for this this assignment that I have done. So the thing is like the way that it works when you go to like a company doing this job, it's like first you think about the problem for like days, then you think about the test that you want to write, and then you actually write the code. So it's totally like kind of reverse situation. So test-driven development is something that you want to look if you want to go straight transition to your industry. So this is like important stuff. And yes, Yeah, so you have to write code that will check your code that has already been written. So this is like cyclic problem. Sometimes we joke about like, how do you know the unit test you have written is actually correct itself? So this is like kind of things you will see. And yeah, this is on the technical side. And one last thing is tech interview. A lot of people, like, I think, were expecting that I will talk about a lot about tech interviews, but I have covered it in like a flipped approach. Like all the things I've told you about, they will really like get you through this tech interview. And so what to expect? This is like from my personal experience again. If you have an assignment, pay very special attention to it. Like, how did you do it? If you use certain things, again, if you use, there'll always be a problem that will require you to use a certain data structure. And then they will then for sure ask you like, why did you use it? And then you will be like, why cannot something else be used? And then what could be more efficient? And so this is like the things that you will have to really think about it. And there's no like this general idea to say like, what you can expect in a tech interview. There are like so many tech interviews as there are companies on the planet, but this is very general. If you have an assignment, then you pay very special attention to it. How to prepare is, again, general ideas is the first thing you apply for somewhere, and then you say like, what kind of position is it? What kind of work that company does? And then you find out the tools they use, then you have this idea of this like topics that you might want to really understand. So it's like preparing for a tech interview is more like you're defining your syllabus yourself and then like sticking to it. So this is how you will prepare. Just do a lot of research on the position, find out what they're doing, and see like what are the technical things that can come out of it. So that will be really nice to do. And for general, and so the jack of all trades, there is one more thing that have been recommended a lot of times. If you go to this like big companies like Amazon or somewhere, if you want to go to their coding interviews or something. And so it's a very recommended book. You will see it all the time, everywhere, like everybody recommends it. So so if you're like targeting something like that, definitely read this book. It's very helpful, helped a lot of people. And there are there are YouTube videos on how to use this book actually. So it's not like you can just take the book and read it, and they're like people have done some analysis on like how you should read it effectively. So very well researched book. You might want to take a look at this. And yeah, so that is like kind of everything from where you can get from undergraduate to very much to the end of like getting a job or whatever you want. And so hopefully you guys have some idea like about like what to expect and how you can transition from the student life to there, and what kind of expectations are there. And so, yeah, I hope that was a bit useful. And well, thank you. And I will not like speak more.
That was such an insightful session. Thank you so much, Ishant. We learned a lot from you. Now, sure, many of us will be eager to shower you with our queries and questions. Over to you, Neha ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Manya. Okay, Sant, first of all, I would like to, say that that being a teacher, it is very seriously, it's a very proud moment for us that you are a very first batch student of our college, and you have really set a great path for your juniors. And I think it's really a blessing kind of thing for your junior, that at least someone is there to help them, right? So as you narrated each and everything very well, and uh, yeah, your junior have some, the some curiosity about you also. They want to know some technicality and about your course also. So the very first question from your junior is that how would you landed into Mapbox, and what are the key aspects that they look into during your interview? So could you explain that thing?
Okay, so this is like more of like a kind of journal life thing, that when you see like somebody somewhere, you see they're there, but not like the everything else. like all the like setbacks you have. So like the question how I landed Mapbox is there are 25 rejected applications behind this. And so I mean, like, yeah, you definitely landed that. But so like I applied for at least 25 places, from Nokia to like everywhere else. Sometimes I get in response, sometimes I get an interview. And so the way you will land a job is like applying to all these positions. And then you have to be very active. Like you go to LinkedIn, job boards everywhere, and you see this all the jobs in there. So you apply them, and with every application, you will kind of know. You will kind of know like what you were missing last time. And so you every time you kind of improve your application letter, you tweak your CV, and to a point to like what they want. So a very important idea to like when you apply somewhere, research about the company and make them see what they want to see. Like design, like put your CV, like put the things in the CV that they want the most. So if I'm applying for like some like example, I'm applying to a company which is more into this native development, I will highlight all my C++ courses and all other things rather than putting like endless list of achievements. You just put like very concisely in one page what you want. So how do I get into Mapbox? Simple. Apply to a lot of places, like also then improve your applications with it. And then you will definitely like find at least one position where you are like, where they will be like, yes, you are the perfect fit. And sometimes it's about the fit. Like you go there, you are like, yeah, you are like good candidate. We definitely don't have anything like that we can get from you. So sometimes the companies are just like, yeah, you can't get in because we don't have a specific position. Yeah. And what was the other part of the question?
Okay, so class, now you can see that 25 times failure. It's just not a rejection. Is just it doesn't mean that you are a failure. You can set the other path also. Just explore the thing. जब तक achieve नहीं कर लेते हो अपने goals को, then explore the thing. Okay, so there is one question from the Ruchika ma'am. Can you explain how you were able to get through MS? I mean the process. I think she want to know.
And the process or the actual studying?
It's your experience actually. Just explain the process only for your juniors.
Process is as I like. Yes.
Yeah. You can.
As I said in the like slides as well, it's quite similar everywhere when you want to apply. Is you will have your transcript, you will have your good motivation letter. That is like very like it's they give a lot of weight to your motivation letter, and then recommendation letters as well. So you have to get all these things in order. And then just after this, there is usually an interview where they will ask like a lot of questions related to what the program you're applying. And like most of the questions, like it's kind of nice that they read the program we have. If you like do it like even if you do like do it with 50% attention or like make a bit of effort, you will know a lot of things to answer these interviews. It has a lot of these like basic things. So yeah. Looking for scholarships, it's so there are like a couple of websites that you can go to, and I think one of the ones that, and you can also like for every student, like I always do this like very dumb search on Google, scholarships in X and scholarships in Y, and then you can end up with like very good like ideas. But there is like specific website if students are looking at. So I think it's called.
Okay, you can share the link in the chat box.
Yes.
And it's a request kind of thing, everyone. You can, just do a copy of that link and save it in your device.
And so they have a lot of scholarships, like in one place you can find them. And yeah, some are like almost like you can find something for yourself like all the time. Yes.
Okay, so class, I think echo So, okay. So, class, Ishant has narrated his aspiring story from the BSc honors to MS in a very lucid way. Now, if you have any kind of query, if you want to know any kind of thing, you can ask. You can write your query in the chat box. Okay. So the next question is, yeah, you have explained that how to look for scholarship, and the next question is. Okay, they are basically asking that what should be their steps and skills to have a bright future ahead in the computer science. So if you have any other knowledge about anything, you must have, I think. So if you want to, share that thing, you can. Yeah, Ishant, you are on mute. So just share that thing also.
Uh, like it really depends what you mean for your bright future, because it's very personal and specific things. So some people target like really big things and they want to achieve that, and some people, like I know a lot of so in my class here at University of Eastern Finland, there are people who are the age range of the people is from 18 to 34. And in the same class we are studying, and everybody has like a very different idea of what they wanted. So there are people who studied political science first and now they are in computer science. And so the idea about this, like having a bright future, is like it's first to get this certain kind of plan, and not too rigid actually, just a vague idea like what you want to do, and then always have a secondary plan with that. That's like normal stuff. And then you have to focus on this basic ideas in computer science for having a very good future. I don't know if I want to use that word. For having a very good competence in computer science, you would do this these basic courses, pay the attention to them, and it's always about, you will not learn when it is being said to you or something. It's like you will get the idea. So all the things that you do in the class, the idea is to just give you these pointers, and then you can do more research on it. At least from what I'm doing MSc here, the professors here are he will just put on a slide with the topic, and he's like, yeah, this is the basic idea. Now you guys can go home and just do something about it. And if you have some problem, then you come on Thursday. If you don't, there's no class on Thursday. And so there's well, we cannot do it there because there will be no one, I guess, then in the class.
So you have to explore the thing by yourself only, right?
Yeah, you have.
At least we give. At least in our class, we give them option that you can ask to your class teachers also.
Yes, yes. And
okay.
And it's nice, the people themselves, they kind of understand that they need to get somewhere, so they come themselves to the professor what they want to ask.
Yeah.
And so there is it's very different demographic here than my class I was there, because we were all same age, same experience. And here you meet people who are already married with 2 kids and now starting their bachelor degree, and they're like, yes, we have this kind of change in life and we want something else. So it's interesting to see people change very you can always change the idea of your bright future now and then. So more ideas to if you are doing computer science, you can have a very good grasp of computer science. So that's I think the path.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So, now one more question from your junior, that what according to you is the best way to understand and learn something? So that's related to the previous one.
Sure. How would I even answer that? Because it's some people, there are different things. Again, I think it's a general idea. People learn by different methods and processes. Not everybody is the same. But what I find most interesting for myself, what I have found is especially when you are learning these programming language and computer science things, it is very good to do that thing yourself. For example, you are doing C++ and you have learned all the things in that, but then what helps is as I told you, going somewhere, seeing what someone has done and try to do it yourself. Then you go find a very small project and you see yeah, I might want to do it. So you will get a good idea of like what to do, when to do, and why to do. So it's in computer science, it's more like learning by doing. I think that works best.
Learning by doing, right?
Yeah. Again, you can also do like this, and now it's like kind of very good time because you can find like a lot of online sources, right? You can find like whatever you want to learn, you can
So
find
this
it
this this
online.
is actually the next question they want to ask, that that how can they tackle the challenges in the job searching during the pandemic? The there is they can't interact with the people directly, so they all are dependent on the online thing, material and devices.
Yes,
So
yes.
they want to know the exposure related to this also, that how they
Yeah.
can explore the thing in the
Okay. Yeah.
limited
Yeah. So
scenarios.
the online pandemic was actually very kind of yeah. You cannot meet new people and you cannot network them. So a lot of people that have suggested, like, I not necessarily do like these things, but a lot of other people have suggested here. Like, I was in like one of these networking classes at university, and they're like, yeah, there are certain things you can do, like having a good LinkedIn profile, and you can like post your insights on there, and then you can connect with people there. So the more you become engaging in there, the more you can like come in the light of like people know you then. And so like try to have a good connection circle there, and then use like this kind of when you go to these webinars and stuff, like where people are joining, you can always take their contact, connect them again somewhere, and then be in touch with them, so to expand your network. So this is basically the idea, is you have to do a lot of things online now. So go to as many conferences as you can. That is like one of the most interesting, because now they're online, so they're also very like most of the time they're free, and sometimes they are very cheap. So now you can also do it, because before you have to go to the actual place, and not like it's
So
not possible.
do you have any ideas that how can they join the conferences? Is there any particular site where they can explore the thing?
There is usually I'm not remembering the site, like I can send it, but there are a couple of sites, but they are very specific, like what you want to see. So for example, so I've been to a lot of these kind of C++ development conferences in last year.
Okay.
So you can just go and have a good search for this. There are like CPP Conf and stuff like that. You can always search them online. There are like certain sites. I'm not remembering them at the moment, but
Oh.
yeah, you can always
So
find them.
can you share with your classmate that your mail ID or your GitHub IDs?
Okay.
So if you can share that,
Write on the chat, and
Yeah.
you can write on the chat your
Yep.
email ID and other IDs.
Yeah.
Mona ma'am, she has written one more thing, that please share the details of the internship you did during graduation, and also where all to apply.
Okay.
Yeah, just tell us about that briefly. Looking at the time you have
Yes.
Yep.
left, we have to
Yes.
leave by 3.
We have, yes.
Yes. So details of internships. So I wait, and also where all to apply. Okay. I did internship like first at, I think everybody knows, like at University of Delhi, the first year we did it. So they used to have a call every year, and I'm not sure if they're doing this anymore. Like they used to do it, but not sure about now. And other internships that I did was here in Finland with Mapbox, and I did the internship. So I found this on LinkedIn. So this is again like very same answer to like all this question, that you have to be very active on this LinkedIn job search you have, and you have to be again also active on these other job boards. Like now this is like very specific, because at university we have our own job board where they like post everything. But I think for you it will be better if you go to this LinkedIn is the best resource I've found yet. And and try to know like companies in the fields that you are interested in. That's also a really good thing, because then you don't have to search for anywhere, and you can go directly to the company's website and then find it. And sometimes it's very fast, because you go directly there, so nobody else might have seen it already, because on LinkedIn a lot of people see them, and so you can have this advantage of being this like first or second applicant. And always remember with the company applications that they hire when they find the best fit. So unlike universities where you have a deadline, they will not make a decision until the deadline and see everyone. The companies never do this. Like, even if you see a job listed, there might be somebody have already been like in that position for now. So it's very like crucial to apply like when it appears, like in like couple of days or 3 days. So there's always a rolling process. So keep that in mind. Yes.
Okay, so is there any more queries? Yes.
I have one. Sorry, I cannot
Okay.
write because
Yeah, you can, ma'am, please.
any plans for further study, Ishant? या बोर हो
Not
गए
yet, ma'am. I haven't even. Yes, ma'am. PhD करने का प्लान है, लेकिन 2-3 साल जॉब करने के बाद अभी तो मैम मेरा मास्टर्स पूरा नहीं हुआ है, मैं वो थीसिस लिखने के पीछे हूँ, और यहाँ कंपनी का इतना like they have like lot of work now, so I'm like not being able to focus on that.
So now you are able to relate that कि मैं data structures, तुम लोग भी मुझे कहते थे ना मैडम data structures छोड़ के आप चले गए थे, वो मैं क्यों गई थी, because that time I was writing my thesis down.
So do you really think, Ishant, that after 3 years you have आप continue कर पाओगे अपने interest को for the PhD and all for the study?
मैम काफी लोगों ने मुझे यही कहा है कि वो तुम 3 साल बाद पता करोगे कि क्या हो गया.
We are actually
No,
we
but I
are your
think,
live examples.
nee, the thing is
We are
that with
struggling.
Ishant, seeing how he progressed through the 3 years, I'm sure if he wants to do it, he'll definitely be able to do it.
You know, Mona ma'am, what I'm looking for that your screen is something else, and आप बातें किसी और device से कर रहे हो.
I'm logged in from 2 devices. This is what I use in my classes also. So my students are used to that. Just so that I get to know if I'm logged out from somewhere.
Okay. I'm just relating that how it is possible that you are on mute and you can speak. Then I realized somewhere else that M is reflecting something.
Yeah. So
one informal question. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
sure.
One informal question, Ishant.
Yes, ma'am.
कॉलेज की सबसे ज्यादा क्या याद आता है कॉलेज का, कैंटीन और व्हाट?
कैंटीन.
And you know
कैंटीन और वो साइड स्टेयर्स थे सन जहाँ पर बैठते थे आप लोग सारे ग्रुप्स अपने लंच बॉक्स लेकर.
Would you like to have a look?
Why not, ma'am? मुझे लगा कि अब नई बिल्डिंग बन रही होगी.
I am in
नहीं
college.
यहाँ तो अभी नहीं. Preeti ma'am is in college, so she probably can show you.
Okay, she's there. Good.
अभी कहाँ पहुँचे हो?
मैं अभी पार्किंग से निकल के and now I'm going towards the thing. So ईशांत, मैं तुम्हें क्या दिखाऊं? लैब,
कैंटीन इसको लैब नहीं देखनी है, इसको कैंटीन देखनी है. And you know, ईशांत, कैंटीन से याद आया, you had also mentioned software engineering, so I'd just like to tell you that for third years they would know this, that when I teach software engineering, for all the batches after your batch, the first project that I show is your project that you and Yash did. And to tell the second year students, it was the canteen management system they had made.
So here is, if you can see the, I'm
you
not
have to
sure.
flip the camera. ये तो field आ गए.
No, it's
आप अच्छे
not
दूसरे
visible.
घर से आए हो.
Give me a minute.
अच्छा, आप दूसरे पार्किंग से अगर स्ट्रेट जाते तो आप वहाँ पहुँच जाते.
ये कुछ ऐसा तारेगना ब्लॉक एंड कुछ कैंटीन
अभी ग्रास दिख रही है. ग्रास
ही देख लो. फील्ड
यार ये देख लो, तुम सुनो ये देख लो. दैट इज अ बेटर आइडिया. बिल्डिंग दिख रही है कॉलेज की.
द फ्रंट नहीं, आप कैमरा
अभी आप दिख गए.
बात करोगे मैम आप.
अच्छा, कैमरा फ्लिप करती हूँ.
एग्जैक्टली.
हाँ,
दिखा.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, अब थोड़ा दिख रहा है.
कॉलेज की
थोड़ा
बिल्डिंग दिख रही है ना?
दिख रहे हो,
बस
बहुत दूर से दिख रहे हो इसलिए.
इतनी दूर बैठे हो, इतना ही दिखेगा, इतने में इतना ही.
अभी नई बिल्डिंग नहीं बनी है कॉलेज की.
बन रही है एक्चुअली, वो बन
अभी
रही है
अंडर
अभी.
नई
कंस्ट्रक्शन
बिल्डिंग इधर है.
अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन.
अभी अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन. अभी यहाँ न्यू बिल्डिंग में कुछ नहीं दिखेगा आई गेस. बहुत ट्रीज वगैरह
हाँ,
बहुत हो रहे हैं.
the 4 floors are ready in the sense they have been constructed. Interiors are going on, flooring वगैरह and everything is done. But then we've got a sanction for 3 new floors, so it will be a 7-floor building.
See, Nikhil is saying that Nikhil Chaudhary, he must be from the second year. At least college तो गए.
तुम भी जाओगे, don't worry, तुम भी जाओगे.
Chance ये कि अभी
Nikhil,
तक
you're
ये
most
college.
welcome to come to college, and you
Yes.
can coordinate. Which city are you in, Nikhil? You can unmute also.
So Ishant, as I'm walking,
Yes, ma'am.
see this is your admin block. Then ये वो पेड़ जहाँ आप लोग सारा दिन बैठे रहते थे.
Yes.
Nothing actually.
फिर हम ऊपर से बुलाते थे कि आ जाओ क्लास के लिए.
लिटरली बोल कर किसी का
सर्दियों में
पॉइंट आउट करके ही
सर्दियों
क्लास में आ
में
जाओ.
धूप, मुझे अभी भी याद है इनका बैच था, ये इनसे नेक्स्ट बैच था. सर्दियों में धूप सेक रहे थे और मैं मेरी क्लास
फिर
में
इनके
नहीं
नेक्स्ट
आए.
बैच वाले.
दे डिडंट रीच माय क्लास ऑन टाइम, तो सबकी एब्सेंट लगी थी.
दे मस्ट बी द नेक्स्ट बैच, क्योंकि हमारा फर्स्ट
Here is
बैच
lab.
बहुत सिंसियर था, आई मस्ट से.
Ishant,
नहीं
can you
नहीं,
see
हमारा
lab?
फर्स्ट बैच को या लैब दिख रही है.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
थोड़ा
ma'am.
लेफ्ट में
that
करो,
corridor,
थोड़ा लेफ्ट में
खिड़की दिख
करो.
रही है लैब की.
Actually, ये
anyway,
जो first
that-
batch था,
हाँ.
I would like to tell the second and third year. The first batch sort of had a, they had the ownership of the new lab. क्योंकि उनका कोई जूनियर बैच नहीं था, और जब कोई और किसी और की क्लास होती थी तो इनको बहुत दिक्कत होती थी कि इनको लैब से बाहर जाना पड़ा था. एंड
जब
when the second years
2017 की
came,
बैच आई थी,
हाँ,
they were like, मैम वो लोग चले जाते हैं. अरे चले जाते भाई, उनकी क्लास है तो वो जाएंगे ही सही. उसके पहले ये लोग पूरा टाइम बैठे रहे.
so they was very difficult for them to share the lab when the other batches came.
Exactly. So these are the very memorable day for the Ishant also. Second year तो वेट ही कर रहे हैं कि कब हमारे कॉलेज के दिन आए, ये ऑनलाइन क्लासेस खत्म हो.
हाँ, नहीं, please, you can come maybe in small
Yes.
batches also. We can also do that.
Yeah.
A few departments are doing that.
I have already told them कि we are there, हम हमेशा होते हैं वहाँ पर सारे फैकल्टीज. So if you want to come, एक ग्रुप में बनाकर आ सकते हो.
वो हमसे
मस्ती के
मिलना
लिए
नहीं
आ
चाहते,
सकते हो.
उनको कॉलेज देखना है ना अभी तक.
तो सबने वैक्सीन लगवा ली है, like सब वैक्सीन.
हाँ, यहाँ पे तो कॉलेज में एंट्री नहीं है अगर वैक्सीन नहीं है. Yeah, that is the thing. So even when the students come, they have to be at least vaccinated one vaccine, and then obviously within a month or 3 months they would get the second dose.
Yeah, rest of you can also unmute yourself and you can discuss directly if you want to
अभी
know
time
something.
नहीं है.
If
I
you
think
want
we
to
have
comment.
to wind up.
51,
Neha.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
we have to wind up.
Ishant, all the queries you have been,
Are
they have done.
answered. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's very smoothly.
Vashita or Manya, you can take over. Anything else you'd like to say, Ishan? Though we'd love to talk endlessly with you. You have to
Yes,
join
exactly.
back work.
Yeah, that's like.
So it's
I'm like at loss of words.
okay. Yes, हम
Nothing
समझ
okay you can
सकते हैं
even
बिल्कुल.
say in the end,
But
right?
then, yeah,
So it's over to you, Vashita and Manya.
It's always like I would like to thank everyone during my undergraduate, like everyone, teachers and other people who helped me around. And yeah, I was actually remembering that when I took admission in Aryabhatta college, and I was like, I had my fees stuck at somewhere else, and I'm like, I have no money to take admission. And then I actually come to I come to Preeti ma'am, and ma'am was like, okay, you will not run away with it, so I will pay your fees. And I was like, yeah, that was one of the reasons that I'm actually.
Yes, we know about that also.
Yeah, and I was
हाँ,
like,
तब तो
ma'am's
फिर
like,
ट्रस्ट
okay,
नहीं
you're
था,
not running
इसीलिए
away.
पूछा था. ट्रस्ट होता तो ये भी नहीं पूछती. I would have directly paid without even asking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is some of the things I will be always grateful for, ma'am. Yeah, that's one of the things.
My pleasure, dear. My pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Vashita.
We hope you are all clear with your thoughts now. We have a Google form in the chat box for your feedback. We will appreciate it if you could fill it. As we approach towards the end of the event, we have Mona ma'am to say a few words.
Thank you, Vashita. Good afternoon again, Ishant and my dear colleagues and students. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of Tech Pioneers for the third episode of the Alumni Speak Series. Thank you, Ishant, for a detailed and interesting session on navigating through the life of a techie. It was a very interesting session, and you emphasize on the fact of that you need to learn, and you can only learn while you're doing it. And hands-on is very important. And there are so many things, that you pointed out, like how it is important it is to read the code. And I think more so when I teach software engineering, I just relate to that how. I myself, sometimes at one time I worked on a project and I had to actually figure out the requirements based on the code, just reading the code. So though it's painful, but that's what we, software engineers need to do. And Ishant, we teachers are very, very proud of you and wish you luck and success for the future. We hope you stay connected so that time and again you can share your journey with us. So I'm sure, I don't know about you, but we'll always be, after you, and we'll call you again and again so we can see how you've gone in your journey. We also wish to express our gratitude to Principal Sir for providing encouragement and support at every step. Our Society Tech Pioneers is blessed to be backed by a team of very enthusiastic and devoted faculty and students who have diligently done their assigned tasks. I am thankful to my colleagues, Dr. Ranjan Kumar, our teacher in charge, Dr. Preeti Jagwani, who, even after her numerous tasks, is very closely involved with every event of the society. Dr. Solon Linda, Ms. Ruchika Agarwal, co-convener of Tech Pioneers, Ms. Neha Kumari and Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, who have all contributed with their suggestions. Thank you for your support in organizing today's webinar. We are thankful for the support of the non-teaching staff, Mr. Saurabh for helping us have our event showcased on the college website, and Mr. Vinay, who is always available for any help. Mentioning the most important next, the driving force for this webinar are all the council members of Tech Pioneers, led by Tanushri, closely supported by Shivam and Advik, and all members of the creative team, the event management team, and the marketing media coordination team. Their dedication, enthusiasm, and persistence made this webinar possible. And of course, thanks to all the two anchors for today, Manya and Vashita. Last but not the least, to all the participants present here, thank you for being a great audience. As someone said, work hard, dream big, and never give up. Push harder than yesterday if you want a different tomorrow. And I think, Ishant has really, really, I found these lines and I could not relate it more to Ishant than, any other lines. We have seen him work hard, throughout his 3 years, and we've whatever journey he's gone through ahead. So you really need to work hard to really go somewhere. From my side, my heartfelt gratitude to respected Principal Sir, our guest, and I'm saying specifically guest, Ishant, your guest for today, my colleagues, and dear students, for all your support and efforts. It was a pleasure working together for this event. Please don't forget to fill the feedback form and have a great day. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks for inviting and thanks for attending the session as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ishant.
Thank you.
And all the best, Ishant.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, everyone.
So we'll leave you on time.